All right, so I know that, well, majority of you will not like this video because I'm going to address my opinions and my thoughts on 007 First Light James Bond. But before we continue, I need you to understand I'm 47 years old, okay? I've been around, I'm almost 50. So I grew up with Ian Fleming's James Bond. I've been watching everything from Sean Connery Bond movies, Goldfinger, Dr. No, you name it. Uh, from Russia with Love, Roger Moore, uh, James Bond movies, especially Roger Moore in the 80s. And then Timothy Dalton in the early 90s. And the mid 90s, of course, Pierce Brosnan. And in the early 2000s, um, of course, Daniel Craig. And I know that majority of you are born in mid 2000 or early 2000s, and you're probably in college and or finishing high school and you're super excited. You're a Gen Z. I'm Gen X. You guys are Gen Z. So your concept of James Bond is Gen Z concept. My concept of James Bond is what Ian Fleming has created in the past 50 years. So I'm looking at James Bond as James Bond. Okay, so the input and opinions and thoughts that I will give here on this 007 First Light 13-minute gameplay, I need you to understand that before you start, judging me in this video. So I'm trying to give you a concept of what to expect because my vision of James Bond is the vision of the original James Bond that's been set for 50 years since Ian Fleming's very first Dr. No and Goldfinger, okay? Sean Connery days. All right, so that's my vision of James Bond. Your vision is this new Gen Z version or whatever you want to call it. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at the 13-minute gameplay video. All the opening's nice. Has that James Bond, scope logo. Looks like they're part of some sort of a special operation. It looks like a Call of Duty. I swear to God. I'm getting Call of Duty vibes here. Alright, that's him. That's a Bond. Alright, so he's part of this mission. He's mingled with Special Forces. Alright, so the helicopter goes down. Flares. It feels like a Call of Duty, man. Like, it doesn't even feel like an opening of a James Bond movie or James Bond video game. It feels like an opening of a Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare 4 or something. I don't know, or Splinter Cell, Uncharted, or Tomb Raider. All right, so I guess he's in the water. It doesn't even feel like a James Bond. It doesn't have that James Bond aura. Like if you look at the EA's Electronic Arts James Bond, it feels like a James Bond. If you look at the Rare Interactive GoldenEye, it has that James Bond theme. This just, doesn't feel like a Bond because I grew up watching Bond. I'm almost 50, man. I'm 47 years old. So I know what the Bond is all about. People who are my generation, Gen X, they know what Bond is supposed to be like. This doesn't feel like a Bond. It just feels like a Call of Duty mixed with Splinter Cell, Siphon Filter, Uncharted, and Tomb Raider. Now, if this was a standalone game, and if it didn't have anything to do with a Bond license, Ian Fleming's Bond, then okay, then I would accept this. All right, this is pretty cool. This is interesting. But you know, you want me to buy into this Bond game as a Bond, as a James Bond, but the opening of the game doesn't even feel like a Bond. It feels like some sort of a survival, Uncharted, Splinter Cell type game. I don't know. Call of Duty. And I know you guys will not like this video because you're so super excited for this. And I get it because you're Gen Z and your priorities are different than what my priorities are. But my priorities are based on the facts of what Bond is. Okay? And this has nothing to do with I'm like shitting on your generation or my generation is better than your generation. I'm simply saying I know what the James Bond is about. I lived through it. I grew up. Okay? I watched it with my father. I've seen all the Bond movies, and I know what the Ian Fleming's Bond is all about. It's about funny, charming, over-the-top action, no fear. Like, the Bond would never be like this. He would not be scared. He would not be breathing heavily. He'd be like, maybe light up a cigar, you know. Like Roger Moore would, like, you know, find himself a bottle of whiskey or something, or put it in, you know, in a bottle and drink it. Oh, Moneypenny, it's so lovely. You left me a bottle of gin. Like some funny quotes, right? But this, what is this? Uncharted? Siphon Filter? Splinter Cell? Call of Duty? If this was Call of Duty, if this was Splinter Cell, if this was Uncharted, not a problem. I'll accept it. But you want me to accept this as a Bond? It doesn't even feel like a Bond? I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. Yes, the graphics are nice. Look, I'm not saying that the game doesn't look good. I'm not saying that the mechanics of the game doesn't look great. But this is a Bond. This is supposed to be a James Bond. If this was a standalone game and had nothing to do with a license of Ian Fleming's Bond that Ian Fleming created 50 years ago, okay, I'll accept this for what it is. If it was a standalone game, I would be excited about this. Like, all right, this is cool. There's an interesting story. He's stranded here, and he needs to infiltrate the base and find out more about this Russian, whatever this Russian-speaking, sounds like a Serbian, Russian-speaking Slavic language. This, whatever this place is on this island, to figure out what's going on here. Some top secrets. Okay, pretty cool. If this was Siphon Filter, all right. If this was Splinter Cell, all right. If this was Uncharted or Tomb Raider, all right. But this is James Bond. Supposed to be funny, supposed to be entertaining, over the top. And that's what the Gen Z doesn't understand. Because you guys didn't grow up watching James Bond movies like I did. You don't even know who Roger Moore is. You have to probably look him up. You have to Google who Roger Moore is. You don't even know who Timothy Dalton is. You don't even know who Sean Connery is. Do you even know who Pierce Brosnan is? Jesus. So, like, yeah, you probably know who Daniel Craig is because that was the last Bond that we had. But, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, I'm not buying into this. And I know you guys will hate this video. And I told you, I know you will.
It was an ambush. Both choppers down. Hostiles are organized and heavily armed.
He doesn't even sound like a James Bond. He sounds like some soldier.
MI6. We're taking control of this mission effective immediately. Are you injured?
I'll live.
Good, because we need your help. What's your name, soldier?
Bond.
Oh,
Bond.
you're not SAS.
Bond.
Their crewman.
Like he's about to cry. Bond. Soy boy. Soy boy. Bond.
Do you see a camp?
Why don't you cry? What kind of a scared soy
No,
boy,
it's
soft
light
Bond?
from the other side of the mountain.
That's it.
Yo, dude. Like I said, if this was a Splinter Cell, if this was a Metal Gear Solid, if this was a Tomb Raider or Siphon Filter, no problem, dude. Or if this was a standalone game that was inspired by Splinter Cell and Uncharted and Tomb Raider or Siphon Filter, right? Okay, cool. I'll accept this, you know. But this is supposed to be a Bond? James Bond? Nothing funny, no funny quotes, nothing charming. He looks scared.
Are you sure you're up for this? Adrenaline can mask even significant damage.
Better keep those levels up then.
Yo, man, I'm sorry. I'm not buying into this. I'm really having a hard time getting into this. Believing that he's a Bond.
What is it?
Just taking in the view.
Just taking in the view. I'm so scared.
Start heading back to the camp.
I'm so scared.
They're an international group, speaking English but with accents, capable and well organized, ex-military.
Speaking English with an accent. No, they were speaking Serbian, dude.
That's good. Keep your
One guy says naprijed, naprijed, meaning forward, move forward. I know, I speak Serbian Croatian. So when they say naprijed, naprijed, idite naprijed, idite naprijed, it means move forward.
classified.
What kind of a Bond are you, dude? You should know all of this shit, man.
Well, who's running the retrieval mission then?
Also classified.
How can I help if I don't know what's going on?
By doing exactly what I tell you.
Yes, Mom.
Yes, Mom.
Have you
Oh,
located the camp?
I'm a good cock. I'm a good
I'll go
cock.
see it when I clear the
Yes, Mom. I'm a soy boy. Soft Gen Z soy boy Bond. I'm sorry, guys, man. It's hard for me, man. Like, this is why everything sucks nowadays. This is why movies, TV shows,
retrieval mission.
video games, everything sucks because this Gen Z just doesn't understand,
How long were you in the water for?
like, where it all started from.
And your
They don't even want to care about, like, watching 60s, 1960s movies.
operation.
Ask any Gen Z. Have they watched any Gen Z, 1960 movies? Ask any Gen Z. Did they watch 1960s or 1970 movies or 1980s movies? Do they even know any of these actors from 1960s and 1970s? Do they even know who Charlton Heston is? Do they even know who Steve McQueen is?
What?
Liv Marvin?
First they hurt.
Do they even know, like, who Charles Bronson is? I'm having a difficult time adjusting to this new generation, this Gen Z, man, because they don't know where it all started, how it, like, everything that you have now, it's because of the previous generation, and they don't understand it. They don't understand, like.
Good. You're close to the camp.
Fingers and toes. Water certainly doesn't help.
Dude, this is not a Bond, man. This is not a James Bond. It's just some bloke, scared shitless, trying to survive.
The entire camp and perimeter.
Enough to level this place.
Yeah. Huh. This one's armed.
They are all armed.
Thank you, MI6.
Saves us the trouble.
MI6 explosives. You're the ones running your retrieval mission.
Not officially.
And we set up a grid of high explosives covering the whole area.
It's a post-mission cleanup measure. Thermochemical sterilization. I didn't want you to get worried.
He has no confidence. He sounds scared. Mom, mom, mom,
It's quite safe.
I'm scared, mom.
What's not, however, is used
Bloody
without
hell.
the cold.
Oh, bloody hell, mom. I'm so scared out of my wits, mom. I'm a soy boy. Cock. I'm a soft soy boy cock. Grow some pears, man, will you, dude? Kind of a half-ass
There's a window
soy
where I can
boy,
get through.
soft-ass Bond are you, dude? Jesus Christ. It's pathetic, man. Soy boy Bond. No confidence, no nothing. Zero confidence.
Good news?
Hey, Mom.
Parker.
I'm not gonna be cold anymore, Mom.
Stigos. Desi biodosan.
Tuż Stižem za sekund.
So now he speaks their language, but he didn't understand what their language they were speaking.
You speak Serbian.
Montenegrin. Picked up a few phrases while mountain climbing.
Yo,
there.
this is so stupid.
A man of hidden talents. Now, let's
But
figure out
earlier
what's
he
going
didn't
on.
know that they were speaking Serbian. But now he knows, and now all of a sudden he speaks it. Yo, dude. What's going on? Didn't we already see this? Why?
What have we got? Drag raised on a retrieval mission. 18 scientists and engineers. No comms, no morning check-in. Been offline 64 minutes and counting. We need
Yo,
to
this
get
is so
on to
bad,
this.
dude.
That's one expensive wake-up call. Must be more to it than that. Let's see. Norwegian weather satellite picked up an unusual heat signature a couple of clicks off coast 2 hours ago. That's all I've got. What sort of retrieval are we talking about? That's classified. Can't say I'm right, little housing.
Why are we going back to the beginning? What's going on? I don't understand. Why are we going back to the beginning? I don't understand what's going on here. What the hell? What the hell just happened? Oh, that was the end? Oh. Oh, that was the end of the 13 minutes? Oh my God. Not impressed. Not impressed. I'm kind of depressed, to be honest with you. This is depressing. This is really depressing. And listen, I want a really good Bond game, but this is not it, man. This is not it. And I can't believe that I'll be the only one actually criticizing this for not feeling like a Bond. I'm sure other Bond, fans will say, "Hey, this doesn't even feel like a Bond. Like, what's going on here?" We all know what Bond is. And anyone who's familiar with Ian Fleming's Bond, with Dr. No, with Sean Connery, with Roger Moore, and Timothy Dalton, and Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig, they all have charm, and they're like funny. They make funny quotes. They're over the top action. This doesn't feel like a Bond. This feels like I don't know, some new game that looks interesting, but it doesn't. It feels like a siphon filter wannabe. Honestly, I'm looking at this as a siphon filter. This is a siphon filter wannabe. It's what this is. Um, I'm not buying this guy as a Splinter Cell. He does. I mean, as a Bond. Where's the confidence? Like, dude, where's your confidence? Mom, I'm scared, Mom. Soy boy. I'm soy boy scared. And then he says he doesn't understand the language. They speak some English, whatever strange language, and then I heard what they said in Serbian, like, napred. Napred means move forward. And then he says he didn't know what language they were talking about. He didn't know in what language they were saying. And all of a sudden, he understood what language they were saying. Like, how does that make any sense? Like, here, he didn't know. When he was approaching the enemy, he didn't know. He didn't know. He didn't know. He says they're speaking some strange language. Samo napred. That means move forward in Serbian. Here, you can hear it again. So he didn't understand that. He didn't realize that's Serbian. But now he didn't know that when he was going. And then once he got here, he said, "Oh yeah, I know."
That'll do.
Good news?
Parker.
Stigao si. Gde si bio do sada?
Opusti se. Stižem za sekund.
You speak Serbian?
Montenegrin.
It is Montenegrin, but also at the same time, he didn't realize that they were speaking Serbian earlier on. I'm sorry, but I'm not buying, this guy. I don't buy him as a Bond. I'm sorry. I'm not impressed. And I told you not going to like this video because I have to be honest. I can't pretend. And you have to understand, I have to be critical because I'm like a big James Bond fan. I grew up watching James Bond movies, okay? In the past 50 years. Because I'm almost 50. I'm 47 and next thing you know, 2029 I'll be 50. I'm almost a middle-aged man. So I grew up watching James Bond movies, so I know pretty well what Ian Fleming's James Bond is all about. And this is certainly stepping away from what the Ian Fleming has created. If Ian Fleming was alive, I'm sure Ian Fleming's turning in his grave, watching this like, really, dude? This is not what Bond should be. Just like when the Bond died in that latest Daniel Craig movie, when they killed the James Bond with the missiles. And now he's a father and he's married, whatever, he has kids, and the missiles are coming down. He's looking at the missiles and he wants to die. I'm sorry. It's the Bond is not what it used to be. They screwed that up, dude. Even the critical drinker, and he's a huge the guy critical drinker from Scotland. Even he says like they screwed up the whole James Bond franchise, man. It just messed that all up. Just like they messed up, Disney messed up the Star Wars, right? And they messed up, the Indiana Jones. And here they are, like they're pissing on James Bond and making this ridiculous make believe that it's a Bond. I'm sorry, but this is not a Bond. It's not a James Bond. I don't know what this is, but I'm not buying this guy as James Bond. He doesn't have any confidence and he doesn't have any persona to be likable. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not buying you as a James Bond. Um, it just I'm sorry. It just doesn't. I can't like get into it. Like I can't really accept him as a Bond, as a James Bond. I mean, anybody who understands James Bond and Ian Fleming, who read Ian Fleming books, will understand. This is not a charming, and funny, witty, confident, strong alpha male. Sounds more like a soy boy cock, scared running around scared shitless. It's bad. So I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I'm sorry. I told you you're not going to like this video. I was preparing you early on in the beginning of the video because it doesn't feel like a Bond. It's not a Bond. And sadly, it is what it is. Now, what about the full game? Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I'll look at the walkthroughs of other people and see what the gameplay looks like and all that. But so far, what I have, and then Lenny Kravitz is a bad guy. They were able to drag in poor Lenny Kravitz as a bad guy. Why don't you just bring Paul Heyman as a bad guy and Triple H as a bad guy? Why don't you just bring all the wrestlers in and I'm sorry. It's just no way, dude. Like I said, we'll see on Tuesday. We'll see the full version of the game. We'll see how it is. But man, I'm not excited for this. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. And if I'm the only person on this planet, so be it. I don't care. But I'm not impressed. Okay? I'm not impressed. This doesn't get me excited. I'm depressed actually. I'm depressed. I'm not impressed. And that's not good. If this depressed me right now. That's not good. Anything that depresses me, it's not good. And this game, this 13 minutes just depressed me. And I'm sure even Ian Fleming is depressed. It's turning in his grave. Roger Moore, it's turning in his grave. Timothy Dalton's still alive. Pierce Brosnan's still alive, and I'm sure I'm sure Pierce Brosnan is like. Daniel Craig has no opinion. He doesn't care. But Pierce Brosnan, I'm sure he's like. They should have brought an older version of Pierce Brosnan in the game, dude. It would have worked better. And I'm sure Pierce Brosnan would have agreed. Pierce Brosnan would have. I don't know about Daniel Craig. He probably wouldn't. But I'm sure Pierce Brosnan would have agreed, man, to do a Bond video game. I guarantee you, if they had approached Pierce Brosnan, who successfully made a GoldenEye game and a GoldenEye movie, he would have agreed. I guarantee you, Pierce Brosnan would have agreed and would have been much, much better. But anyway, that's James Bond for you. This is a Gen Z James Bond, what this is. This is not the Bond that I grew up, that I know. This is a Gen Z. And everything that's Gen Z oriented sucks. Look at the Aliens and Predator movies. It's terrible. Look at what they've done with the Star Wars. Terrible. Everything Gen Z nowadays, it sucks. It just sucks. Anyway, but that's just my opinion. I told you not going to like this. Told you. But hey, look. It doesn't look like a Bond. It doesn't feel like a Bond. It doesn't smell like a Bond. And it's not James Bond. Okay? So I know it's a long video. I know, but it's 13 minutes that I have to go and watch and commentate. So, listen, again, this is just my opinion. If you guys love this game, if you enjoy it, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter what I say. But if you want to hear my opinion, and that's the reason you watch me in the first place, because you want to hear what I think. That's the whole reason why you're here watching me, because you want to hear what I think. You want to hear my opinion. And my opinion is, well, it's not a James Bond. I guarantee you, Pierce Brosnan would have agreed to do it if IO Interactive and Amazon MGM Studios, if they approached Pierce Brosnan, I'm sure he would have agreed to do it. He already done GoldenEye and Nightfire, many other, Bond games, James Bond games. I'm sure he would have agreed to do it. I'm sure he would have done it. Motion capture and all that, and he would reprise that James Bond in the video game. And they should have done that, and I don't know why they didn't do that. Electronic Arts should have made a Bond with Pierce Brosnan. That's what they should have done. Anyway, it's 30 minutes. Thank you for watching. Okay, I don't mean to be negative and pessimistic, but I'm sorry, I'm not buying into the fact that this is a James Bond. It's not a James Bond. I'm sorry. To me, this is not a James Bond. Okay? All right. Well, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. I will cover some more as the official release of the game on Tuesday. It's officially released. I'll let you know more, give you more opinions and thoughts on it. My opinions will change. Okay. But so far, what I have seen, I'm not impressed. Okay. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Like I said, opinions will change. Okay. As I see more of this game. But for right now, what I have seen, what I have witnessed, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. It doesn't look like Bond. Doesn't feel like Bond. It's certainly not a James Bond to me. You know, I don't buy into this guy as a Bond. He doesn't sound like a Bond. No confidence. He looks very scared, confused. Anyway, I'm sorry, but that's my opinion. Thank you for watching.